It's 10 p.m. deep in the heart of Ohio. This is Field Investigations with Agent J. I'm here at the desk, files open, coffee hot, and the unknown is waiting just beyond the static. If you've seen something that shouldn't be there, something that makes your skin crawl, something that keeps you up staring at the ceiling long after the house has gone quiet, then please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, and join me. The chat is live, so drop your encounters, your questions, and your nightmares. No judgment, no filters, because out here, after dark, anything is possible. I appreciate everybody joining me here tonight. Chat, hello, hello. Thank you for coming to our first 10 o'clock episode. I apologize if my volume was a little bit low. I don't know what my deal is. I know you guys have heard me complain and complain and complain about my audio issues, which the last couple episodes, I actually think for the most part they were fine. I keep the intro music keeps resetting to this default volume, which is 0 basically. And man, is it frustrating. Mainly because I don't catch it until it's too late. Which I guess I need to come up with some sort of checklist and maybe just be more professional about this whole case. But alas, here we are. Maybe give me a pop up in the chat just saying, hey, make sure everything was looking good if you can. Mainly because I am nervous that I messed something up earlier, moving stuff around. Tonight, I wanted to chat about the MUFON files. I thought we would dive into those. We discussed them a little bit last 2 weeks. And tonight I thought we would go straight to them. I have a lot of stuff pulled up here that I wanted to go through. Namely, this just rash of sightings across the country here, so far this year, and the number of reports coming in. Activity itself never really went into decline, but by some standards, reporting did. This happened around the advent of the cell phone, of like the smartphone, along with other things. I mean, I've had multiple conversations today about seemingly how pivotal a moment the smartphone was. I'm gonna crank up my volume a little bit. Here we go. But there was a decline in reporting at the time, which as and this was even a discussion almost 4 years ago, or my gosh, almost 7 years ago. I had with our local rep with MUFON, in that they started getting suddenly this rash of reporting of kind of like a backlog of stuff. And there is this claim that people stopped reporting because they were afraid their stuff was going to be either told it was hoaxy because everything at the time was being either genuinely debunked as fraudulent evidence, or wasn't being taken seriously because of this fact. So, we're stuck in this weird place where we're starting to get all these reports now of people going, I have all these pictures. I didn't want to, say anything about it then, outside of maybe my immediate friend group. But we're getting all these, pictures and videos. And a lot so far this year. Again, I think the more that this is getting out there, and especially with the supposed impending disclosure update from President Trump, that they just feel that it's a good time to start reporting these things. Some of these I've gone over. Some of them actually that have sadly a lot of images that I wish I could share. Which maybe I can get some sort of access to share them with you guys one of these days. But I'll try to describe it even the best that I can. But buckle up, guys. We're just gonna have a kind of casual chat about night. Please, drop everything in the chat. Just let's chat about. I mean, it does look like there's only a couple of us here, but hey, maybe it'll pick up speed. So yeah, buckle up, grab your beverage of choice, or any other vice that you may have. I myself will be doing that as well, and we're gonna just dive into these. Honestly, I pulled up just the last 20. I wanted to. I mean, I have a list of there's a case that if you guys want me to go into, maybe we'll even end with it. That is a very early known case, the Maury Island incident from 1947. That I was actually going to go into, but then just in between my time of prepping the show and honestly getting a little bit of extra time, I thought it was going to be crunch switching the time change, but I had an extra cut, like about 10 minutes. So I'm scouring the site and stumble across, just this list that I know I do check. I check fairly, obviously leading up to the show, I was checking daily. But I haven't checked price since we discussed this stuff last week. But yeah, there's a lot of these other incidents that I was reminded of and was able to get a little bit of time into looking into as well. So we could touch on those too. Jennifer, thank you. I actually think it was low because I was sitting extremely far back from my mic. And I don't think about those sorts of things sometimes. I'm still getting accustomed to that. Movie Stud, nice to see you. Lexi, thanks for joining the chat. Thank you. Movie Stud, always popping in here with the emojis. I love it. Howdy. Like to see everybody that's coming back. Look, everybody with little number 1 crowns next to their names. This is fascinating. I got a bee in my bonnet about 10 minutes or about 40 minutes before the show that I was gonna get the phone set up. And then I panicked that I would mess it up, and then I did. So that was cool. Luckily, I was able to salvage this with my old settings. And we'll get to the phones maybe Friday and just do a fully call-in show. Maybe in response to some of these things. But yeah, this whole night I think we're just gonna be kind of doing a live chat read. So like again, pop in with your questions or your thoughts. I mean, I'll bring things up. I mean, if you know anything and you have thoughts on stuff you want me to answer in this capacity, I will. If you have larger things you want to save for the call-in show when we get that going. But I mean, you guys please pop in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. I know there's not a lot of us in here, so like I said, we'll be going over these files in between stuff. I'm going to skip back here just to the very first uh, case that's on here from today. This one's from Dillon, South Carolina. It simply reads, observed a strange light for about 5 minutes. It cut off lights, and then I couldn't see it. When it took off, I captured it with my cell phone. So we're going to pop this picture open here again. I didn't view this one. Well, I mean, that's not really a thing. It's nothing. It's a picture of a picture. So, unfortunately, we do get those. Maybe I should screen these before before I dive into. The next one we're looking at, this one out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Which, by the way, Indianapolis is also going through its own rash of sightings recently as well, which I'm currently gathering information on. But the case itself is actually from 2001, or I'm sorry, the incident itself is from 2001. I'm sorry, 2021, September 5th, 2021. Out of Indianapolis. The description is, I saw three candle orange orbs in a triangle formation from my backyard in the early evening of September 5th, 2021. The cloud cover was strange that day/evening. There were low dispersed clouds traveling south to north and higher dispersed clouds traveling north to south. There was still a good amount of visibility, which became 100% after my sighting. Three strange orange orbs appeared directly east of my backyard. I'm going to censor the address. People put their address in these things. They appeared in the distance, likely a mile or more from me. I saw them after two clouds had passed against the blue sky between two large oak trees. They were rotating clockwise in a triangle as if attached or in formation, although I could not see any structure fixing them together. At one point, a fourth orange orb dropped off the bottom of the orb in the formation. Some clouds blew through, and when they were gone, the orb formation was gone as well. This one has a sighting map. Oh, that's probably why they... Now, I will say, they in my interview, so when I initially got into MUFON, which I won't go into to any great extent, I reported a case. They called me because I didn't put details like that in there, but I did say that I would provide them if they would like to do certain research. By the time they contacted me, I had done most of that research on my own, and i.e., I had some contacts, luckily due to my proximity, but also just due to some history, some contacts in Akron here to Goodyear, and I was able to cross-reference whether or not, blimps had been in my area specifically. They were able to track them using their system, going over our specific address, and I was able to rule all that stuff out, but also include that stuff to then back up my claim when I spoke to our representative, who I'm still trying to contact. I'd like to get on the show. I think he would be happy to do so. Anyway, I'm looking at this is actually a really interesting document that they have given us here. Description of sighting. I was facing due east on September 20th. Triangle formation, 1 to 5 miles away, depending on the size of the orbs. So this kind of shows a house, them standing in their backyard, a garage in the backyard, a walkway moving up to the house, and like maybe a small, well, this says 24-foot porch, 24 by 12 porch. Wow, that's a big porch. Good for these people. 20, man, it's a nice garage too. And then where they say they saw these orbs, they say 5 miles, but my God, if this is, this is no thing, but that actually shows it maybe no more than 70 feet from them. This story though is very, very reminiscent of my first. I've seen two, and we'll go into those more. But though the first one that I did see when I was younger, was this series, and this is a famous one. This one, you guys, there's video of this. I've found it since and since lost it even. Um, I don't have the video. It's not my video, but I've found other video from another perspective. My friend, a listener of the show as well, can attest to this. He was with me. Um, but same thing. We saw what looked like three orbs in a formation, triangular formation. We thought it was a blimp. Clearly not. Or just aircraft. I mean, my buddy was a big airplane person, but he was immediately like, dude, we would hear them if they were that close. You know, we were kids, but whatever. But yeah, then they all went in different directions, turning just wild things, and then shot directly into the sky. Gone. So this one I believe, especially with this documentation again, if you guys could see this, I mean, you don't put stuff together like this unless you believe you saw something. Um and at the end of the day, I think everybody has their things they believe in, and if you can put that kind of work into it, into debating it or to arguing your point, then I'm at least going to give you benefit of the doubt. Well, that's a person's foot, maybe. That's not a picture. So we'll skip that one. Well, saw childlike beings all over my apartment complex very early in the morning. Now, this is Fort Wayne, Indiana, coming from, wow, we've just hit an anniversary of this. March 12th, 1999. This person states it was 3 a.m. Now, when we go to the photo on this, I'm not sure what the photo is of exactly. So I don't know if we can, but let's look at the full story, see if he included anything in the longer description. Oh, got my backdrop cop. I don't know why I have a backdrop. I'm not on camera. Well, I don't know. This is a very strange one because triangular craft in sky when I looked out my living room window. I'm sorry. Let's read. Unfortunately, they don't do any sort of editing and stuff on these. I need to contact these people and see what their payroll's like, because Christ, could they use an editor on this? Triangular craft in sky when I looked out of my living room window. Saw childlike gray beings, a lot of them, walking around our complex. Lost time after that, woke up, and there were lots of men in orange suits doing yard work all over the complex in the same area that I saw the grays. It was now daylight, and I don't know where the time went. Ham scheduled tomorrow. I am scheduled tomorrow to see a doctor for a metallic implant that I have near my wrist that I want taken out. I don't know where it came from. I have had it for at least 2 years, but it could be more. The I can definitely see why maybe this one wasn't immediately reported. But give me a second here. Hey, Chad, I'm getting that thing again where it's showing me disconnected. Just so somebody pop in here and say something kind for me. Keep me going here. But yeah, I mean, I can see why you might not report this said thing. I mean, gosh, you look out a window and you see grays everywhere. And not nothing that happened to me. I won't be as crass as to say that, but I have heard verbal when in my short stint of attempting to become an investigator for MUFON, or in my process of doing that, I suppose. in my short stint doing it. I've heard many of these stories and test the verbal testimonials like in person. Um, but also along a lot of audio stuff, which they seem to have taken off the website. And I'm wondering if that's gone to New Fork. New Fork. I don't know. It's very strange, but we used to have a whole audio component on the website, but the website's very very dated currently. I don't think they've done anything except for taking apparently submissions. Gosh, tea today, guys. I know I said coffee in the opener, but we went with tea. It is a green tea. And I don't think it's one that was on the list of teas with metallics or plastics in them. You guys seen that stuff? That's going around too. Our regulations on these companies are awful. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of people reporting seeing groups of these things? I mean, we don't have any visual evidence. Well, we do, I think, have visual evidence of them, of course, but none that people are claiming to be legitimate or by agreed upon by the masses. And you get claims like this, and people think you're crazy. I would have to listen to them. I like to hear the conviction in someone's voice. But I went from reading the small blurb and being like, well, I don't know, because the picture again, has absolutely nothing to do with anything. But that story sounds real. Like, it sounds like that person experienced something. You know? Our next one, this is a report. The incident originally, July 4th, 2022, at 11 p.m. This one simply with a small description, another stranger. Site report. I've had experiences in the past, but with the actual recording, made me believe. And again, I'm sorry. This is pretty broken. I think I've had experiences in the past, but with the actual recording, made me believe to something before to what I saw and what I recorded to be true. So this person's clearly claiming that until this recording, they didn't really buy into what these things that they had saw. What I saw is to me a versed person to think that's not right. What I recorded, wind was low, no fly zone, cloud cover null, fireworks are only certain feet, and then in the way they move are not constructive to normal. What I saw then was what I saw when I was 13, something moving weird, and when I grew up on a military base. I know I took my dog out into the tank trails, and what I saw, then I saw again. The straightforwardness in movement, indicative to modern machines. When it moved sharply, I closed my cam when my friend came out. I don't know what I saw, but it shot up close, then zoomed south. I didn't want to grab attention. I was frozen. Not again. Now this does come with some video I'm going to view. I'm actually working, sadly my loop, but there's a loop, if you guys know the Technobabble, there's a loop switch on the back of, oh wait, can you guys hear this? There's popping, and let me know if this loop button's working. But you should hear some noises behind my voice. So you can tell the fireworks in this. This is not a firework in this video. Wow.
It's stationary.
Wow. Okay. This is a long video. This is just a backyard. So there are no fireworks in this video. You can hear them in the background. I mean, you might not be able to again confirm if you can for me. But you cannot see them. Um, the only other thing you can see in this is clearly like lights from a pool shining up onto a building, and then a light dead center in the sky that is, as he moves, changing color. It doesn't look like it's blinking. um, it definitely looks like it's just changing color, and it's stationary in the air. Oop! Now it's dropping. Now it's drop. Oh, it's gone. It's zooming away. Wow. Frankly, this might be one of the best videos I've ever seen. That was now it could have been a drone. This could be a drone. I mean, this is now. What year was this from? Which one? Again, this one out in Claremont, California, back in 2022. It could have been a drone, but I mean, man, 4 years ago, I feel like drones were still really big. Okay, so you guys weren't picking up on the sound. I wonder if I turn. Let me try this again. Let me do. Hold on. Hopefully, I don't lose you. All right, I'm gonna try this again, and all right. So those are those fireworks. I'm gonna watch this again myself and report and try to give you a better. This is an incredible video, frankly. Um, Again, it doesn't. It could be a drone. It very well could be. I'm not going to be out here being a crazy person saying it's not. Likely, what we're seeing is is like an infrared on it or the laser. There has to be something. Maybe just the lens of the camera. But that's the thing is, if it's a drone, why? I mean, it has some sort of pulsing light, but it's not changing. I mean, it's almost as if the light's a different angle on it. I can't. It's not blinking. Um, but then the way that it moves at the end, I'm not sure if it necessarily behaves like a drone. It could. I mean, I'm leaning towards drone.
I just saw it fly by from
Oh,
the east
hey,
side
wicked guys, we got
so
that figured out.
quickly
You guys can hear it. Okay.
before I grab my phone.
Well, I think I missed the F bomb. I did. I thought I missed it the first time. But anyway, so I'm glad you guys heard the popping. Now this guy is staring straight on at this thing, and it just here in about 5 seconds. Here it goes. It starts moving slowly. This is where I think and now it's like just zooming away, but it's kind of wobbling a little bit at one point, which kind of makes me think it might be a drone. Impressive video though. Impressive video. That's exciting that you guys can yeah, can hear some of this. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. Lex, thank you. Jen, thank you. Movie Stud, thank you, guys. Looks like we got a couple more people. Welcome to the party, guys. We're here just going over the MUFON files. We actually just listened to an incredible video from Claremont, California, back in 2022, 4th of July. And we got exciting news. My loop back is working, which means I think the phones will be working on Friday. I was having an issue with it, but wow, that video kind of gave me chills. I've been getting really excited about all of this again. There's been I think a disinterest in UFOlogy. Or UFOlogy is not the same as it was in the 90s. And I was upstairs just a little bit ago watching a film called In the Vast of Night. It's a Amazon flick, and I know it got torn apart a little bit because it's a little anticlimactic, but it takes place in the 50s in a small town and deals with a radio host and a switchboard operator kind of following strange noises in a broadcast and then sightings. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. Come back, let's talk about it because it's a really good film and it gives me the feeling that Close Encounters of the Third Kind gave me. Clearly not to that scale. It's a much lower budget thing. There's only like 4 people in the whole movie, really, aside from some extras. um, but there's a love to the ufology or the paranormal that I don't think people realize. And man, that video just gave me some chills a little bit. We're looking at one now. This again, these are all reported within the last week. These are all the top 20 cases reported in the last week. Now, again, they're reported in those days. They may not be the date of incident. This next one comes to us from October 30th, 2003, out of San Angelo, Texas. Triangular UFO with rounded corners. This one, very similar to what I would say my short description of my last encounter was. A dark night equilateral triangle with curved corners, orange plasma-like envelope, as if re-entering the atmosphere. It had 4 purple glowing domes and a central square pattern on the underside, with a high-speed craft streaked across the sky silently in mere seconds. I saw a diagram of the BN 2200, which looked very similar to what I saw. When I read that it had first flown in 2004, I remembered that was about the same time I saw this triangular craft. I felt less weird about what I saw then. Again, this one reminds me so much of what I saw. The light, the kind of weird light patterns, and like a central square pattern on the underside. Again, I could sense mine had this triangular form. It didn't look rigid, so I gave it round applications in my brain. But the lights kind of formed. It gave it its form. Unfortunately, couldn't hear it either. Very interesting. Now, accompanied with this is a couple of JPEGs. We're gonna. Oh wow, they did it. The BN-22. Which is a Lockheed Martin and Bigelow Aerospace project, which was it was an orbital interplanetary shuttle they were designing. Apparently, they had tested it back in 2004. Very interesting. I'm not really aware of this. Yeah, his picture that he drew. Now his just shows it burning up. Mine was hovering. But actually not too dissimilar from the picture he's drawn here with 4 lights. The 4 lights! Hit me with the reference, guys, if you know what it is. Yeah. BN 2200. Oh, no. We're going to go over here because I want to look this up. We'll save that one for later. Putting that on deck for tonight after we wrap up the ep. Wow, guys, look at us. 33 minutes in, starting early. It really gave me some energy. I think I said I was doing this for you guys. I think I did it for me. My lord, those late nights. I thought I was gonna be good. Wow, this is a long one. I'm gonna review that one because it is long. Wow, this is a really recent one from Naperville. So. Okay, this one, we're gonna read it. I'm gonna do the best I can. This one's out of Naperville, Illinois. I was gonna skip because of how long it is, but it's, this is one of those cases. Again, like I was saying, we're seeing them across Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Indianapolis areas having a lot of surges. There were a lot of sightings a couple months ago through last year in Illinois. In the last 10 years, there's been Mothman sightings out in Chicago. Of course, I'm doing a Mothman episode, you dweebs. Come on, we're going to get to that. But Naperville, is another spot that I've seen quite a few coming out of. So we're going to read this, mainly because it's extensive and it's from just a few days ago. If it wasn't so recent, I think I'd skip it, but I am very interested in these recent reports, especially in states that are seemingly close to us. I mean, again, we're talking about PA, us here in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, kind of across a certain line, seemingly, right? So let's get into this one, and then we're gonna go to the chat. So if you guys got questions or thoughts, fire them up. Let's get them in there so we can keep this train moving. Now, sadly, none of these have people don't include their names, or they allow you to post these anonymous, or they go up here as anonymous. Obviously, they keep your information if you choose to give it to them. So this particular night, I was just beginning to doze off after struggling with sleep all night when my two long-haired chihuahuas, Buttons McLovin and Stella Bella Smiles, jumped from their sleep and were suddenly on my face in the bed. I thought they wanted to go outside. I glanced towards the clock, and I believe it was about 5:15 a.m. I got up, a bit frustrated that they wanted to go out because my pups are like clockwork and normally should not want to go out until 9 a.m. I then noticed that my pups were following behind me to the door and they were not acting excited. I turned on the patio lights and opened the door, and my pups just stood there looking at me. I had to coax them to go out the door. Normally they rush out into the yard. The first thing I noticed when I walked out was a large, bright, blinding light in the south to southwest sky. I immediately assumed it was a jet plane flying low into Chicago on their regular flight path, as this is a common sight for me. I was fixated watching this very bright light, and as I was staring... Let's make this a little bit bigger so I can... Oh, that didn't help at all. I apologize, guys. The text on this is so small. I need to fix that. I was fixed watching this very bright light, and as I glanced over at my pups in the grass, I noticed they were like statues frozen in place. I also noticed that they are staring in the same direction as me. The pups were not moving or doing anything, just frozen. I listened for sounds or any movement of the light. There was no sound, and this bright light was not moving. I then started looking for my blinking navigation lights. There was no green light on the left wing or red on the right port side. Nothing. Then the light seemed to flare brighter as I looked to my left looked to my left at the moon. If the moon was a basketball, this object was the size of a very large softball, and the stars were small in comparison. This light was at treetop level and within 500 feet. I then become aware that there is no sound at all coming from anywhere, and this light was stationary. I'm thinking, this is not a plane, this is not a helicopter. Then I was wondering if this might be one of the 3 new Naperville Police Department drones. I had the opportunity last year to see these police drones during a police search investigation. I believe I was approximately 3 to 4 to 5 minutes that I was fixated on this large bright light. In a moment, I sensed anxiety that I really needed to grab my phone/camera. I called my pups while noticing that they were still statues doing nothing. I called my second time, and I grabbed my phone. I ran back outside, and the light was gone. Just disappeared. I didn't know where to be found. This event has proved disturbing to me for a few reasons. This pitiful sleepless night was abnormal, as previously I had 0 issues with sleep. I would seem to doze off. I apologize. Jeez. I would seem to doze off and then get up again and again. Another disturbing thing is the behavior of my pups. The one and only time my pups have ever gotten in my face like that is the night of the Naperville tornado. My pups were in my face and when the tornado touched down up the street. I have no clue what I witnessed, but I do know that it was upsetting. I do not want to have this kind of night ever again. I sensed the light I witnessed or, geez Louise, I sensed the light was an object illuminating brightly and that it had purpose and it was aware of or doing something. The next day, I noticed on Facebook UFO files that a man in central Illinois saw a similar bright light in the clear, dark southwest sky at approximately the same time as me, which was around 5 a.m. I sent a message to me, and he gave me a thumbs up. This man had a picture of the object, which seemed to have movement and was closer to the moon in this picture. There is no picture, sadly, included with this, but man alive, what a story. I'm glad we went to that one. Holy cannoli. I'd like to contact this person. That is a story for sure. Man alive. Naperville, Illinois. Not familiar too much with any bases or anything like that out that way, but I'm sure that they're not absent of those. Isn't Iowa or Nebraska? Don't they have missile silos out there? Am I making that up? Yeah, did you hear in the chat? That's a really good point, Jen. The phrase "sense of light" makes my ears perk up. It gives me actual encounter vibes. You know, and I go back to this only because it's my only real frame of reference. But I've felt this in two different types of ways, both in my most recent experience. Again, a completely black sky with these just orbs floating there, but they were clearly attached to something. Like I said, it had a vague triangular form to it. But the lights were the point. Again, there was no sound. I mean, that being a point as well, I suppose. But the lights felt piercing, like you feel them. The sense of the light is there. You feel its presence on you. The only other time that I've felt this in personal experiences in the paranormal realm, and anybody that's been to this place down to Bobby Mackey's down in Kentucky, which is sadly no longer there in the original form. I believe they rebuilt it. There's a well there that I would say almost you could say the opposite of, right? The sense the dark in it. Not darkness. I don't want to say that it's got like while it does, I'm going to lend myself to be a little bit more a little less dramatic about it, but it's a tiny hole. This is not a dramatic the Ring style well. It's a small well. But it's almost like the second it's almost like none of the light in the room around or the light from your phone or anything else pierces it. You would look at it, and the second you got to the internal structure of this well, it was like it was painted in that black paint that absorbs like 99.9% of light. Yeah, chat, right. Absolutely. Jen says, sensing things like that kind of feels like something resonating in your very molecules or cells. 100%. I mean, it's something that, yeah, it's almost eminent. You know, I don't know. It's an interesting, certainly an interesting thing. I'm sorry, I'm reading some of these. Man, a lot. I want to go back to this one. I'm actually bookmarking it on my thing because I'm gonna reach. I have. Luckily, when you join, they do give you the numbers of regional reps. You actually do have great resources. If you choose to join MUFON, any of you guys can go join. It's actually for not free. It's fairly cheap if you want a very basic one, which I am on now. It's like $4 a month. It's almost nothing. you guys hitting the like and subscribe button on everything I ever do and the notification bell will pay for my MUFON membership. Remember to do that. And then tell your friends, and then tell them go watch the show, but only if you like, subscribe, and all the other things you need to do. But it's a very cheap thing, and you get access to a lot of pretty rudimentary in terms of the basic thing. But they will allow you. You get the privilege of being able to reach out to these people and talk to them, which is nice. And then this lush backlog of things. Another one here from May 8th, 2023. Again, this one just reported, though, on the 12th. Shining object that was tumbling and changing shape. On the date stated, which, as stated, was May 8th, 2023. I witnessed an object as I was driving west down the road from my house on my way to the store. As I approached a stoplight, I saw an object to my right about 50 feet in the air, just kind of floating, and my immediate thought was it was a set of balloons that got away from somebody. But as I turned right at the light, the object moved in the northern direction, same direction I was going. Okay. Mind you, there are cars all over the place trying to focus on an object or on the object and fumbling with my phone. So I go up the street to the very next turn so I could park and get a video or pictures. I finally watched it where I jumped out of my truck to take a picture. What I saw was multi-sided, reflective like glass, and was constantly changing configuration, almost like a Rubik's Cube. But it was going from square to flat to pointed, morphing essentially, but maintaining flat sides like glass. I took 5 pics with my phone as it moved off. They're not the best, but I did capture it. Let's look at these. Okay. Same shape. Ooh, that is different. Maybe it's rotating. At least in the photos. Well, by the photos, it looks like this thing is rotating. At least. At the very least. These photos do show something rotating. That's pretty far up. I mean, it could be like a seagull in free fall, which, man alive, you guys, write that one down. That's the name of my grunge band. Watch out for the music videos for Seagull in a Free Fall coming soon to the Field Investigations with Agent J channel. But I doubt that's what this is. These pictures are interesting. There's 5 of them, and you can clearly see this image change. The thing in this image changing shape. I mean, I think his eyes are probably giving him, or he probably has a clear image in his brain with what his eyes saw versus these pictures. But interesting stuff. Now, guys, this one is very recent, coming in from March 12th of this year. This is the next two. Actually, next two are very interesting ones. Both coming in from March 12th, so just a couple days ago. 2026, and reported on the day. Love when you see this one out of Amarillo, Texas. Star-like object moves straight down and then fades out. So, my husband has a friend who saw this as well, but I don't want to just sign his name on here without asking. For the last few days at 5 a.m., there are these flying lights that look exactly like stars. You have to look for a while to notice that they are moving, changing directions, fading out, then lighting back up for some of them, and then kind of touch each other for a second, then move far away or fade. I'm sending you an extremely short video for now, but Joshua, the other witness, has some really good really good videos on this. The video is very dark, so it may be hard to see at first in this video. I only caught one that was coming straight downwards and disappeared. If this is of any interest, we would love to show you the longer videos of this. Wow. Well, it's of interest to me. All right, guys. You could probably get the well. You hear water. The videos. The videos don't offer much. But one thing this slick little membership brings me is the ability to download. So I'm going to mess with that in my free time tomorrow and see if we can't clean that video up in a little bit, you know. Enhance. Grid 33 and grid 34, enhance. But that's an interesting one, yeah, out of Amarillo, Texas up there. Amarillo. Now, this one is later in the day. Now, this one piqued my interest because it obviously calls recent events to mind. This one states meteor like Corbin, Kentucky. Short, sweet. Again, this one from March 12th. Appeared from the northwest, was a glowing light, immediately shot down like a meteor, but faster, going north, visible for 1 to 2 seconds, then vanished. Likely a meteor. Maybe if you asked me 2 days ago and I hadn't watched about a dozen meteor videos that flew right over my head, I would have a different perspective. But yeah, a lot of these are meteors, dudes. Oh, man. Okay, this is a very interesting one, and maybe the one to close the night out on, unless you guys are wanting to stick around. I actually feel like I could go on for this for 7 hours. Who wants to do a 24-hour? I could do a 24-hour chat session. I think I would like to do that one of these days. Just a straight on 24 hours. Anything goes, midnight to midnight. Jeez Louise. Now this one comes in, and it says midnight on July 7th, 1947. So we're gonna crack this one open because I don't know about this. It says the caption here is out of Corona, New Mexico, guys. Oh, so these are Roswell things. We might be revisiting this one because it includes an AI image, and this thing is okay. We're gonna have to read this. How long is this? Okay, boy, guys, this is a big one. Okay, this thing was just dropped on here, and I'm hoping the guys here from MUFON have followed up this claim. I hope the guy, and if not, I'm gonna have to reach out to them. Um. Okay, so the long description on this is in a weird format. It's in just like bullet points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 1, I was shown the Roswell official crash photo from 1947 in 1987 when I was in Pennsylvania. 2, I first noticed the object when he dropped the 2 photos in my lap. 3, I knew exactly what it was. The back of the photo had a hand-cut strip of paper with 2 brownish pieces of old Scotch tape, and a strip said July 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. 2 Air Force officers and inspected a dead body at the crash site. It was number 4. It was crashed against a rock with a gap open, which I had popped open from the pressure of the crash against the rock. 5. I always had a healthy scientific opinion. And after reading some, I just seemed obvious they were UFOs and aliens. I never seen one ever, but there was too much evidence, and the swamp gas thing, even when I was young, just seemed dumb. Number 6, after 29 minutes, I gave the photos back. It's then followed up with a couple of photos of documentation, just about the crash site, and then a AI picture. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this anymore. I was really excited. I'm also still very excited now because this is a very confusing thing. That I'm gonna dig into. I'm gonna read these pages from this, and I gotta see who's in charge of New Mexico because I'm gonna have to reach out to that guy and see if he's done any kind of investigation because that is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of stuff I want to know about. That's the stuff we want on this show. This guy needs to talk to me. Let's go. Okay, we're gonna move on. We got a lot of time here, guys. It's only 10:55. Those of you that can't stay up too late, I understand. I appreciate you. I could be running out of gas here as well, but we're gonna squeeze a couple more of these in, I think. What the heck? What? I think this might be okay. This sounds like an abduction story, guys. I am just popping over to the chat real quick. Yeah, I'm glad that one is popular, guys. Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna do that. For sure. We'll dive into that one more. The best I can. I will say it's been a struggle to kind of fire up contacts that I did have before. I have gotten a couple responses, which have been nice, but people are really busy. And frankly, I think the people, everybody that is in MUFON, nobody gets paid to be in MUFON. We pay to be in MUFON, with the exception of like the people that run the organization. And they all have jobs. Some of them are lawyers, some of them are doctors, some of them are unemployed with cancer, some of them are custodians. So they vary to the widest degree, and they're not the quickest people to get back to it. I have a lot of time to sit and wait for them as much as they don't have that time. So I'm trying to be patient, but man, do I wish we had some more direct lines to some of these people because man, it would be great. So this one here, this one's out of Meridian, Idaho. It comes from September 16th, 2025. Says taken from bed, grays, mantis, and a hybrid. These are almost like our own little tabloid corner thing too, which, hey guys, I have a stack of those coming up. We might be doing that on Friday, our own little another tabloid showcase. All right, this one here, I'm in bed and it's past midnight. I'm drifting between dreams and awake. I hear a sound in my right ear. It's loud, ring-a-ling, like a bell. I feel a vibration feeling that is paralyzing. This is not new. I've experienced this ever since they put something in my right ear on the night of 7/27/25. Now that the little round white disc is in my ear, they let me know when they are coming. No matter how many times I spend time with them, I always get a little panicky. I am totally awake at this point, and my body is vibrating so hard I absolutely can't move or talk. I can't move or talk with my mouth, but I can think really well. I hear in my mind, don't be afraid. And instantly, I'm not afraid. I have so many contact experiences I could talk about, but this one is one of my favorites. So I will just talk about this one in particular. So I say to them, I want to see your faces. And I am struggling because the light is so bright that I can barely see them. Down at the foot of my bed, there are 6 grays, and a taller gray with normal-looking eyes, with an iris and pupil, although the eyes are abnormally large. And the mantis on the right, leaning in so he can see them all. I say, your faces are beautiful. Thank you for letting me see you. They say, Ambassador. I say, Me? Am I the ambassador? They say ambassador again, and there are several voices that repeat the word this time. Oh, okay, I have a lot of questions, I begin to say, and they begin to lift me out of the bed. To the right, I feel my body lift up and out, but none of them are actually touching me. And although I'm trying to get more information, I am drifting into unconsciousness. I fight it, but I can't overcome what power they put over me at my will and my mind. Like no time has passed at all, I gain awareness again in my bed, but I can't move for a great while. When I finally can move my limbs, I look at my watch. It's 3:23 a.m. Woof, guys. Woof. Sorry for the yell there, but abduction stories are crazy. But fuck, man, you want to be Idaho or pulled out of Idaho, right? And I dropped the F-bomb. I do apologize. I should not have done that. That was a crazy story, though. Yeah, this video is for entertainment purposes, but it is not made for children, so it's okay. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of abduction stories? How much do you if you were sitting in a bar or an Applebee's or whatever, and somebody came up to you and just told you that, last night I saw 3 lights hovering above my house. They were there and then they were gone. I think it was a UFO. Now, imagine that same person comes in and goes, last night I was in my bed. There was bright light outside. My body got sucked out the window and up into a ship. Like, where do you draw the line on what you believe with these people? I know where I believe this person wholeheartedly. I believe they believe it. And what's to stop that from being real? That's a terrifying story. Jen in the chat says abduction stories they scare me as well. There's a lot of them on this. There's actually, I think I counted at least 4 abduction stories on here. That might have been 5. I don't remember clicking that one earlier when I was flipping through these. Mainly because I didn't like the intro. I mean, mantis throws me off. I don't like when people use the term. I think they exist, these mantis-like creatures, but I don't like the term. I feel like it's lazy. But I guess that's what we're calling them. Man, that's weird. Oh no, I skipped that one. That's a weird one, guys. Taken from bed, Gray's mantis in a hybrid. This next one comes out of New Brighton, Minnesota, back on 7/24/2025 at 3 p.m. Says black egg size of subcompact car. A few streets over, it passed over me about 300 feet, and I would say it was the size of a Honda Fit. I was able to circle around and catch back up to it. I knew there was a park ahead where I could get a better unobstructed view at it. What's super odd is when you view the video I sent with a negative filter, I use VLC player. The object splits in 2. Can't see this happen with the naked eye. Let's see what these videos look like. Again, this out of New Brighton, Minnesota. See if he includes both videos here. If he actually applied the filter. The biggest issue doing stuff on this site, sadly, is MUFON puts a water stamp on your video, property of MUFON, and it obstructs the videos. They need to do, oh my gosh, what is that? So, This is a strange video, man. He's not wrong. I mean, that's probably about the size of a Honda Fit. It doesn't look necessarily. No, I mean, it's egg shaped, but it kind of wobbles. I don't know if. I mean, if you're going to make something egg shaped for aerodynamicy, using it to. Well, is it's turning there? Huh. That's an interesting video. Let's see what he shows here on these other. He included multiple videos. No, it's not doing us any good. Doesn't really have split and enhanced. What does that mean? Okay, split. Oh, wow! It does split into two at one point. Right about. So when I said that it looked like it wobbled, what this man is talking about with it looking like it splits in two is what. So he inverts the video, taking the color out and flipping the black and whites, right? When it's done like that, that wobble I talk about actually shows it separate. Like it looks clearer in that it's actually like going through mitosis, like it's duplicating. What an eerie thing. But the other object that does come off of it, he grabbed a still of it, seems smaller and less structured. That is fascinating. Now, this one, I read the other night, or last night actually, towards the tail end of our episode, because it had just kind of dropped, or on my in my visibility. I was looking at it kind of towards the end of the episode when I wanted to let you guys know what we'd be talking about today, because I knew there'd be some new stuff, and I might even mention this is out of Cincinnati. 3 different UAPs. I don't know what I was observing at first. It was just one singular light acting erratically above the river. Now, this video again is from March 12th, just a few days ago. The long description. I viewed these lights above the river one night in March while I was out on the side of my roof. Smoking, I noticed a singular light towards the southwesterly direction, directly in the flight path of airplanes. I watched as it literally was traveling northwest and stopped and turned right around in the flight path of the airliner. I watched as the object looked as though it was picking up on the pilot or something as it passed right above the airplane from my point of view, which is miles, I would say, but I live right by Lunken Airport, so I'm used to airplanes and helicopters, and this was neither. This was neither. Also, that is where the 4 airplanes I watched coming around to land or taking off. The object was flying around the airplane, and the airplane just casually kept going at a slower rate of speed. It seemed like the other object passed. Observing it later in the night, I watched as the same object was what seemed to me to be scanning the river or the water as it was going back and forth. Scanning the river or something as it was doing numerous back and forth in the middle of the river, no higher than 500 yards above the water. As it was going back and forth, it would stop and hover in certain areas As it was sitting still, I watched two more orbs. I guess they're best described as shoot from under the and above this thing, both going a northwestern direction away from the metro area as they disappeared below the tree line and out of my sight. The main one that had been there was changing colors and what seemed like shapes on a camera. I'm not sure what it was. It made no sense, no visible emissions, and the trajectory isn't like any airplane nor helicopter in the area I've ever seen or heard, or lack of, considering, as mentioned earlier, I live 1 mile from Lunken Airport. Wow, I love when they give us these really, really good descriptive ones. That's great. I'm gonna look at these real quick. Let's see what these.
Video down. Whatever that is.
I'm gonna turn the audio down on this just to. Oh wow, yeah, you can see him. So it's clear this guy's like he's on his roof, looking out over his street. So you're kind of looking at through trees a little bit. You can see this thing off in the distance. This damn MUFON thing is a little in the way until he zooms in. And, it almost looks like a kind of a hovering helicopter situation. Now, mind you, he said that he's used to them and he doesn't think it's that. It is. I mean, it's moving in an odd way. I mean, I don't think it necessarily is moving like a helicopter. But I can see where it could get mixed up. Unfortunately, this tree line's in the way. That video ends. He included a lot of videos on this one, so there's something happening with it. I mean, there is a lot of them. I'll turn this one down too because it's very low. Okay, so this is what he had. Oh wow, yeah. So this one, there's clearly the plane. You can definitely see that, and then this object that is moving. One, you can tell it's not the plane. It's blinking differently. You can tell where the plane's at. And yep, he talks about them separating, one going one direction. Wowzers! Yep, changing colors like he said they are. It is kind of going these, kind of an orange color. I don't know if it's some sort of radiation that those lights use or what, but orange is often used as the color that we hear about. Wow. Another great video. Wow, there's so many. He included a lot of videos. This guy, this guy was smart. All those people that say, "Oh, there's never." I mean, you can't fake them. I mean, I think you can excuse them. I think anybody here that would watch these could go, but I don't know. They're convincing to me. I'm gonna take a break. We're halfway through on those. Looking at the chat here real quick. Jen says, that's something people don't talk enough about. I live close to a small private airport. I know the difference between a plane and something else. Yeah, right. I mean, I live close to one, and I've actually lived close to airports, criminy, almost my entire life. We grew up in Akron. I know the difference. I know what a blimp looks and sounds like. I know what most small aircraft look and sound like, but also they do air shows at the airports near me. I know what most large aircraft look, sound, and feel like. I've been to air shows all over the country, where they're allowed to have bigger planes and do crazier things, and I know that's only a percentage of what our stuff can do, but I know what these things are, and this guy seems like he's discerning. Jen also states, I hear planes and helicopters all the time, every single day. Literally, it's a noise that's not a plane. I know what's different. Not to mention how they look. Movie Stud in the chat says, I have a cousin who's a pilot. he doesn't believe or get this stuff. One night, he was flying a red-eye flight from Pittsburgh to Columbus, saw orbs in the sky, scared the hell out of him. And then he said he still doesn't believe. A red-eye flight, who takes... I'm concerned about the people that take a flight for what's less than a 2-hour drive. But I don't know. I mean, I guess if you need to be somewhere in 25 minutes. I feel like the airport takes us just as long. Still go. I'm still looking at these. These are. I mean, you guys can hear the way he's talking about him, right? I mean, it's clear this guy is not even.
Where'd it go?
I mean, he's not making it up.
Between the tree.
See, my issue typically when it comes to these people, or people like myself, even, is we get thrown into two categories, as in of it's smart enough to make it up or dumb enough to believe anything, right? So you're either so smart that you faked it somehow, or you're the dumbest human alive who doesn't know the difference between this helicopter, this plane, or this or that. But reality, I mean, this guy sounds like a smart guy. He's trying to talk his way through it. He is gathering as much possible visual evidence as possible, which is a tough thing to do. Keep his head in the game here, getting plenty of video of it. I mean, he's got about 7 minutes of video on this, maybe 5. I believe it. You'd have to do some work. Now that is the next move. I mean, this stuff's not out there. I mean, there's a billion. There's 100 apps out there that allow you to track planes. There's a dozen websites that allow you to track blimps. There's, everything that goes into the sky has to have a reason to be in the sky and has to be tracked by the government. I mean, that's the big thing with these drones. I mean, that's what some of these people have been fighting for years, is trying to get rid of these drones and have their ability to operate above a certain height and stuff like that. I don't know. Could be drones. It's so hard in the world of in the year of drones, man, or in the years that drones have become so advanced. I mean, for all intents and purposes, those are UFOs. I mean, the unidentified flying objects. But are they extraterrestrial? No. But I mean, some of these things very well could be. See, the thing I always fall back on is I've seen these things, and the stuff that they're reporting now is stuff that I saw 10 years ago, that I saw nearly 30 years ago. But we're just now able to do it, So, yeah, we might be catching up to it. But then these things go and blow away everything that we put in front of them, I don't know, guys, but I think that's where we're going to cap off the episode for the night. We poured about 78 minutes into this one. I think that's a good place to cap off the night. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Tomorrow, which will be Thursday, we're gonna do some cryptid talk. I got the Green Man, a PA, which is a incredibly interesting story brought up to me by a buddy of mine that I wanted to do tonight, but then again, I thought this MUFON thing on Wednesday was more fun. Then the Minerva Monster. And how both these tales tied into these Bigfoot sightings that we're seeing here in Northeast Ohio. And then, as said and oft promised, I'd like to try and do the live talk show, or the live talk on Friday. Now that I think I got the loop back function, I think I might be able to pull this off with this new thing I got as well. So, I will see you guys around. I appreciate everybody that popped in the chat today. It was very talkative. I enjoy that. And I hope everybody enjoyed the stories. I hope everybody comes back tomorrow at same time, 10 p.m. our new time. Stay spooky, stay curious, be kind, guys. Come back. See you later.